This was a fascinating conversation, which is actually blowing up. Yet again, woke people on Twitter are on high alert. They're thinking about how to defend against this new avenue of attack, a new way at piercing through the ugliness of art that they're creating. And again, like many people are noticing, right? Like Western female characters just look wrong. Like if you play video games before 2016, you would notice that many companies were focusing on creating eye candy because this is what sells, this is what people like to play. And now it's a reversal of that. It's like, how can we make the most grotesque, the most vile looking characters in order to inject our ideology? Again, what they believe is that all apples should be treated equally. And if you have rotten apples and people don't like rotten apples, this creates social injustices. The rotten apple is an apple as well, and it should be treated exactly the same like the prestigious apple. And so if we force rotten apples on every computer screen, on every billboard, and we mock and ridicule the people that don't like rotten apples, then the rotten apple will become the standard. Turns out that is the standard of going bankrupt because no one wants to buy rotten apples from America. People rather buy pristine apples from China. It's unfortunate, but like I definitely think that every single person that advocates rotten apple is a useful idiot for China. Either they're getting paid and they're grifting, or they're doing it because they're a retard. But anyway, as I mentioned before, like most people don't know how to articulate why is it that female characters in the West look ugly. And then some people notice is the jawline. Like they have an obsession with the jawline. They have an obsession in making sure that the breasts are small. They have an obsession into making the characters look as masculine as possible. But some individual noticed something else that's fascinating, which is the nasolabial crease. Right? So you can see just how different a character is when you add nasolabial. Now again, these are fictional characters, right? Like you can design them literally however they want. So they're like, there's no excuse in trying to make them look less appealing. And this horseshit, it's like, oh, beauty is subjective. How the fuck does the AI know how to create beautiful characters? The answer is that it's actually mathematic. Like there are things with symmetry, there are things that the AI absolutely knows for sure into how to create a female character that's going to be pleasing to the overwhelming amount of people. And this is what artists also learn at art school. Like, humanity existed for over 3,000 years. Like, at this point, the science when it comes to beauty is settled. I kid, but not really. And I was generally curious, like, is this a thing? Like, are the nasolabial artistic expression really that pronounced in Western video games? And as I'm going through the picture, it seems that it is. Like, if the nasolabial were fat tits, then all the female characters would look amazing. But, like, here you have, like, example after example. Look how pronounced they are. Look how pronounced they are in some cases. And so my question was, what about Asia? Does Asia have the nasolabial pronounced? And if so, how do the characters look? Wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. What about Western games, though? Like, before the games went woke, did the female character have such a pronounced nasolabial feature? Goodness gracious, chat. Goodness gracious. This seems to be a trend. Let's check Mass Effect 2. How does Liara T'Soni look like? Now, again, I don't think, like, the nasolabial itself is a problem. But it's so overrepresented. It's almost extremely overrepresented. And so people were trying to figure out, like, what is going on. Because, you know, you can understand why they don't want big tits. Like, they're afraid of femininity. Why they want androgyny. Because the developers want to see themselves and their mother. Like, I get that. But what is up with the nasolabial? And so, the only person that seems to have explained it in a way that it gathered 860 likes is that this is a pushback against youth to avoid being called a pedo and to avoid being called sexist. So, basically, this is the defense of the ugliness aesthetic that I see. They're against the male gaze, basically. And if you say that you don't like Western female characters, they will say, well, it's because you're a pedophile. They don't really articulate or explain how or why, but apparently if you like Liara Tassoni from Mass Effect 2, or if you like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, you must be into little girls. I don't get how their brain functions, but maybe like this is something that they're genuinely concerned. Like there's actually a phobia, like the phobia of being accused of being a diddler. And so like they want to prove that they're not, and they're trying to age up the characters to hack max in order so that no one will ever accuse them. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like I'm just trying to get into the mind of why they keep doing this. Again, if you do this with one or two characters, you know, hell, maybe you can even make a face that actually looks presentable and it's good, but it's so extremely overrepresented. And when I went back to video games before 2016, that wasn't the case. Now, you may say, well, maybe they didn't have the technology to do the nasolabial. No. If it's an elderly character, because like there were video games that had elderly women, right, like old female characters, they would add the nasolabial feature. But like for young characters or characters that were supposed to be appealing and feminine, they would never add it. And now I can't sleep at night. I'm thinking, why are they adding it though? Like what is going on? You know, they will say that it's realism, like they're trying to emulate realism. But I have seen them using female characters for motion capture, and the female motion capture doesn't have a proeminent nasolabial feature, but in the game it has. And it's such a fucking dilemma, chat. I generally can't sleep at night until I get to the bottom of it. I genuinely want to know, why is it that they believe that this type of aesthetic needs to be overrepresented in almost every single AAA game? And now that I see it, it's true. Like, everywhere I look at video games made after 2018, all the female characters seem to have the nasolabial crease. And in most cases, it's not that they just have it, but it's extremely pronounced. And I think, like, this is one of the reasons why people keep making the word hag maxing. Like, you're playing an adventure game, like something that should have like a youthful female character, like Tomb Raider Survival is the best example, right? Or Bayonetta or Eve, and they go out of their way in order to hag max the main character. And it's like, why though? Why are they doing this? Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.